Welcome to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we're here to talk about what goes on in the municipalities, the village, the township, and those people that make laws, regulations, and ordinances that affect you out there.
And whether you live in the village of Oxford, the village of Leonard, Oxford Township, or Addison Township, well, these are the people that you elected, and the commissions and the committees that make decisions that directly affect you, whether you show up at these meetings or not, and you should. Yep. But that's why we're here.
We are. And we're here also to find the humor in what goes on in the government.
Humor?
Yeah, humor. Yeah, that guy. We got to find him. He's under there. Yeah, there he is, humor.
I see.
And whatever is laughable, I mean funny, that comes out of government legislation that affects all those people out there. Like we said, if you don't attend those meetings, later on, it can come back and bite you, right?
Oh, right. If you had an issue with one of the decisions that was already made, too late.
Too late. Yeah, once it's made, try to change it, okay? Well, let's talk about the first meeting, shall we?
Okay.
Okay.
What you got?
Okay, we'll talk about Oxford Township Planning Commission meeting. And that was held on October 23rd, I believe.
Under the surveillance of Mr. Bell.
Yes, Todd Bell. And of course, Tom Berger serves on that, and he's the building inspector.
For Oxford?
For Oxford Township.
Okay.
Tom Berger. And let me see, who else is on there? Mike Spiz serves on there.
He's also a Oakland County Commissioner.
He is, and does a great job at that too. That's nice that he's working both ends of this.
And Kelly Rosner is also on there too.
Yep, Kelly Rosner Myers. And she's very knowledgeable as well. Jack Curtis, Ed Hunwick, and let me see, is Sue Belair's on there?
I don't
It's a tricky question.
think so.
Okay, right. Anyway, I believe she is, but that's, we'll check, make a note.
There you go.
Okay. First thing they did, of course, is they covered minutes. And we know that's a very important part. They said, all those in favor, here comes the ship. Aye. Everybody approved.
So I can't believe that they're just so agreeable about the minutes. Usually,
Yeah, no additions, no changes.
When I used to video those meetings, there was always someone that said, "I didn't say that."
Right. Right. Well, apparently
they must have improved the process.
Apparently, we have more truthful individuals. I don't know if you call them truthful. They said, "Yeah, I did say that, but don't print it." Okay. So anyway, so they did the minutes, no problem. They said, "Hey, are there any non-agenda items not on the, that you can talk about out there in the audience?" Nobody.
Were there any non-agenda people out there listening?
There were people in the audience,
okay.
But when they said that, they bowed their heads down, put their hands in their pockets.
And looked at their shoes.
Took care of that. So anyway, so there was nothing going on there. Todd Bell says, well, what about trustees' comments? Is there anything there? And Kelly Rosner Meyer, she said, one thing. Todd says, yes. She says, I'd appreciate if you give us a little bit of time when we say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Trustee?
I can't get out of the chair.
Did you say trustee?
Yeah, she's a trustee also, but she's serving on the Planning Commission.
Oh, okay.
You didn't know that, did you? She also serves on the ZBA.
So only she could speak?
No. There's others that spoke. But anyway, it was rather humorous, I thought, because he started the meeting like bang, and then the pledge. We'll do the pledge. She said, I didn't have time to get out of the chair. So anyway,
I'll just salute.
Yeah, he said, Todd Bell says, well, he says, I'll keep that in mind. He says, next time we'll give it a little more time. He says, to get out on your feet. So anyway, that was kind of neat. Tom Berger says that if anyone has anything that they want to input in advance for review for the master plan, because the master plan for the township is coming up first of the year, and that's a very important issue. If you want to get on what's going on, attend those meetings, and they'll discuss, the master plan.
Especially if you don't want your house rezoned.
Yes, or you want to find your house in some other zone, way down in some other, out in the middle of the river, lake, whatever. I don't know how they're going to do this, but anyway, so it's a pretty important part, and they're going to talk, of course, about the master plan for the safety trails and all those things that come into play. So, anyway. Mike Spiz says, excuse me, I want to talk about driveways. And Todd says, well, what do you want to know about driveways? He said, well, like the driveways that go between on the side of the house rather than, directly to a garage, those people that have driveways that they have to pass the side of the house between the property. He said the requirement is 22 feet. And he said, I find 22 feet is not adequate enough
22 feet of what?
width of
Okay.
the drive
Okay.
to go back when they put cement in
All right.
or asphalt, but whatever.
So it goes between houses, but not anywhere in particular?
Yeah. You've seen homes, no. You've seen homes, though, that have the garage set in the back of the home, right?
Right.
So they have to get back there, right?
So it does go to the garage,
It
but
does.
not to an attached garage.
Alongside the house, not to an attached garage.
Okay.
Yeah. You got that straight?
Got it straight.
I didn't think
I'm
it'd ever
glad you
come
did.
about.
I'm glad you clarified that.
But anyway, he said that 22 feet isn't adequate enough. And Todd Bell says, well, that's one of the issues that's on the list, he says, that we'll talk about, when we do the master plan. So Mike says, okay, good. So anyway, they said, is there any new business? Well, Health Quest, which you recall they have a new building.
Yes, they do, yeah.
Beautiful building, too. They came forward and they said that it's for a preliminary and final site plan. And the reason why, even though the building is there, it's not complete because of the parking.
And there's some landscaping they're doing right
And
now,
there's
too.
some landscaping. And Bill Knight, excuse me, Bill Knight, who represented, he's a business partner, said that their parking lot that they have isn't adequate enough. They need to expand it. There's more vehicles required to park than what originally was planned. And they have a area that's a green belt area, which people have been parking on there, and they've been getting warnings and
Is it on
they
their
get
property?
tickets. It's on their property, but they have to conform. It's non-conforming right now. You see what I'm saying? So it's non-conforming. They
You can say that word, but it doesn't mean much.
okay. Excuse me while I enlighten this gentleman next to me, folks.
So what does that mean?
Well, non-conforming means that there's an ordinance requirement. In other words, the parking lot needs to be paved, which is part of the ordinance. It also needs curbing around the entire parking lot for drainage purposes.
But other
And-
people are using it and not these people.
No. These people, their customers are using this parking
okay,
space.
okay.
And also their employees.
All right.
Well, anyway, they said that they want this a kind of a variance set aside, but it's not called a variance as such. Let me see, what is it called?
So they're parking on a non-paved area?
Yes, some of their employees are parking on a non, asphalt area.
So why don't they pave it?
Well, that's the point. If they pave it, they have to also conform to the ordinance, which requires the curbing and so forth around it. And he said, I can't afford, he said, our company can't afford, the curbing at this point. And some of the other things that, the ordinance is demanding. And so this went on a little bit, and they had the discussion with the board members asking various questions, and they said that the variance, originally they did come before variance ZBA, Zoning Board of Appeals. At least
okay.
Kelly Rossner Meyer,
Right.
she is on that board, so
Right.
she remembered, that they did come before it, and they were trying to do everything at that time to try to get this business in place.
Right.
And so, even though it was non-conforming at the time, they decided to make some exceptions and put this on hold until a later date. But at the time, they were told that there were like 10 spaces required and that kind of thing, for their employees, and that was it. And that there's plenty of parking area that they could handle what they have. Well, apparently they could not. And we'll talk about that when we come back right after this. Hi, I'm Elgin Nichols. We're back again. We're talking about Health Quest. with the
Yes,
Planning
we
Commission.
are.
And we were talking about parking spaces and that kind of thing. Well, anyway, Health Quest representative was asking for a extension of time in order to do this because of funding
So
requirements.
how much of an extension are they looking for?
They're looking for a 6-month extension.
Okay.
And it was pointed out that the Planning Commission cannot grant extensions, that has to be done through the Zoning Board of Appeals.
All right.
So that would be a problem, in approving this right from the get-go, from the Planning Commission. So they're kind of,
So they have to go back to the ZBA.
yeah, so they have their hands tied at this point. So anyway, they said the original green space was designed, through the acceptance of the ZBA and also with the encouragement of the Planning Commission at the time, because there weren't that many spaces required and there was room for
When
green
you
space.
say green space, does that
Yep.
mean there's a lawn there, or is there gravel that they simply park
No,
on?
there would be green grass there, a berm of some type.
All right.
Okay? That was a good question, though, by the way. And it was pointed out by Jack Curtis that, by the way, the ordinance does state that you have to have curbing, and it has to be guttered. So I don't see a way that you can get by that.
So basically, they're going to go back to the ZBA and ask for an extension on their extension.
Yeah, extension on their extension. They said that, let me see, that there was originally enough parking, but there isn't. So that was part of the issue, and should have been addressed originally. If there wasn't parking, it should have been said that, they need more parking. Like, decisions could have been made at that point, Callie said that because it did come before the ZBA, that she wanted more information as far as minutes from the ZBA, Zoning Board of Appeals, concerning, Health Quest, and would not make a decision before she had an opportunity to see that.
Okay.
Makes sense, really, right?
So that minute's just not available right now?
Oh, it's there, but they just didn't have it, at
Okay,
hand, the
okay.
day of the meeting. Anyway, she said also if there was any voting to be done tonight, that she'd have to remove herself because she was instrumental in making the decision on the ZBA for
That's
this
understandable,
subject.
yeah.
So, action, they said, let's postpone and file a new plan because apparently the original plan that they had for parking would not accommodate what they have, but Health Quest did have a new parking plan which parked the vehicles at angles, which
Yes.
would allow more space, for vehicles to, enter in and be located there. So anyway, Todd Bell says, well, if you can present that at the next meeting, because we can't take it today. We have to take the one that you had, your original proposal. But if you want to resubmit that, we can postpone this meeting. Now, he said there's a choice. He said that if you want us to go through with this and we turn it down, and there's a good possibility that it could be turned down now because it is a non-conforming project. If that happens, then you got to start right from the beginning and you got to pay all the fees all over. But if we postpone it, then all you got to do is resubmit your new plan for the parking, and he said it won't cost you any additional money. So at least very little, as far as handling. So good idea.
The path of least resistance and cost.
Yes. So the gentleman from Health Quest says, "Oh, save money? Okay, I think we'll do that." So Todd says, "Well, I assume then that you want to postpone this." And he says, "Yes." And
It's nice that they have such a problem, that they're that popular.
right. So Mike Spiz, though, he says, "How long are you going to postpone it for?" And because he said there's a requirement to get this thing finished, get it off the docket.
Right.
And the guy says, well, I think 60 days, 90 days. He said, Mike says, well, I think 90 days makes sense. So he said, if you want to set it for 90 days, he said, that'll give you time enough to put this together and bring it back to us. And Todd Bell agreed with that. And he says, nice talking to you, Health Quest, and we'll see you in about 90 days. So that was it.
Live well and prosper.
Well, yes, right. Now he said the next thing is going to be the master plan that they're going to be working on. And next year, he said that the plan has to be done in depth. And it's going to deal with all the roads, it's going to deal with all the safety paths and everything involving, the master plan. It's a pretty critical thing. I remember working on master plans.
When's the last time it was done?
I think probably about 5 years ago or so. I think it has to be done every 5 or 7 years, if I'm not mistaken. And don't trust my memory on this one.
Never
Take
do.
a note. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. So I think it's every 5 years they have to look at it. And I think it's in dire need of, adjustments, and, so they're going to do that. They said also that there's going to be a joint meeting with Oxford Parks and Recreation.
Which has
and
already
planning.
happened.
Mm-hmm. That's already happened. And did you hear the results from that?
No, I
Okay,
didn't.
I didn't either. Lost my connection there.
But
Yeah, have to
but
check
it must
out.
but it must have had to do with the proposal to build the community center out at Seymour Lake Park.
I think that's what it was. Yeah, exactly.
So they had to get all the nuts and bolts together.
Mm-hmm.
Not to
Wait a
mention
minute.
dollars
Nuts and bolts.
and dollars.
Wait, nuts and bolts. Is that what they're called?
That's right.
Oh, I thought they were representatives, people.
Well, no.
Nuts and bolts.
I
Okay,
wasn't
got it.
being personal. I was being figurative.
Okay. Okay, stands corrected, folks.
No,
Not
but
nuts and bolts. Bolts and nuts.
you nut.
Okay. Anyway, Callie said that, let me see, that she questioned some of the old homes that are both in the village and in the township, that there's 2 homes on a single piece of property. Says, how did that happen? And so,
Because they were grandfathered in?
well, my grandfather built those a long time ago. But anyway, years ago, as it was pointed out, and I think Tom brought that up.
You can't do that, but then ex post facto
Yeah.
comes into effect.
Right. Tom Berger said that years ago, and he said there's more than one like that
When
in
the
this
earth
area.
was green.
When the earth was green and lava was bubbling from the top, or from the bottom to the top. People built multiple homes. Sometimes they start out with a garage.
Well, they built them close together for
Yeah.
warmth.
Well, sometimes there was a garage built next door.
Oh, sure.
And so eventually that garage became a home.
Ah.
And that's how it worked out.
Maybe.
And
Or a barn.
She said, well, Callie says, well, those are non-conforming. How do we bring them into conformity? Well, that could be a problem. Tom Berger says, well, such thing is what they call latches in time. In other words,
Latches?
latches in time. That's a good one, isn't it?
Sounds like a movie.
They could start a movie. Well, we'll just say that's what it is. But anyway, latches in time. And he said that it's, in other words, it's quirks that happen in the system.
Yes.
That now, unless you pick up the house and move it elsewhere, eliminate the residents, it's going to remain as it is. There's no way that you can really change it.
I.e. grandfathered in.
So until the house falls down or whatever is required, it'll probably be around for a while. So Callie says, well, how do you fix it? Tom says, well, I don't think you do.
Well,
He
we
says-
can buy it and tear a house down.
Right. You can buy it and tear it down. Yeah, the township, you guys can own it. Oh, wait a minute. Where are you guys? We don't want to own it, do we?
Absolutely not.
Okay, if you folks don't want to own it either, let them know. Okay, otherwise, leave it alone. They're not bothering anybody. So anyway, they said, well, sometimes those particular things, if they want to sell it, it goes before a split committee.
How far apart are the houses?
They reach out and knock on the other guy's door, probably. Pretty close.
Build a breezeway, then it'd be one.
Yeah. And what's to stop you from building upward and onward?
Just
don't
join them
know.
together and make a single house out of
Well,
it.
you do have to go before the planning commission if you make changes to that house. So there
Or
you
you
are.
can just leave it as it is and save a lot of money.
You could do that, and I'd probably do that if I was the land owner and the property owner, wouldn't you?
Absolutely.
And I don't want to own it again, right?
No.
Nor does the township, I think, right? Okay.
Maybe, eminent domain wouldn't come in there.
Nope. Let's talk about that when we come back, right after this.
Whether your family is interested in hunting or target shooting, or even if your family doesn't participate in these activities, having a family conversation about firearms safety is the right thing to do. Join me for a straightforward discussion of what to say it, and how to talk with both young and older kids about this important topic. It will be time well spent.
Welcome back to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we have pretty much beat the squad out of the Oxford Township Planning Commission meeting of October 23rd,
There's
right?
hardly any squat left.
Well, let's go on to a new squat. Okay, shall we do that?
Alrighty.
Okay, this is called the Cable Communications Commission.
Oxford Area Cable Communications Commission, known as the OACCC, That's our parent organization.
Oh my gosh, tell me more.
Well, you got the notes.
Okay, all right. Who's chairperson?
Chairperson is Ed Hunwick.
Yeah, he does a good job too.
That's right.
Don't you think?
He was on in the previous meeting you were discussing.
He was. That guy's all over the place. I don't
Absolutely.
know. I've seen him roller skate from
Good
place
guy.
to place. Good guy. Anyway, on that board also is Shar Sotheby and Lori Fisher, who's the treasurer, and Sue Passardic is on there. Anybody else? Did I miss anybody?
Nope.
Oh, I know Bill Service sits on.
Buck Kreiderman.
Oh, Buck Kreiderman sits on there. How did we forget Buck? Pass the buck.
No, Buck, we didn't really forget you.
We did pass the buck. Anyway, we're back to it. Anyway, so they said, first thing is let's get approval for the agenda. All those in favor, here comes the ship. Went right on by.
Right.
They approved it.
No, they didn't.
They did too.
They changed it.
Yeah, they did. How'd you know that?
I was there.
All right, tell me more. What did they omit?
Well, I forgot what a particular item they had, but they substituted the next year's meeting schedule for it.
They did.
Yes.
Tell me more.
There's no more. That's it.
Okay, folks, that's all you're going to get from him. Anyway, they said that, is there any other comment?
Oh, yeah, that shall remain nameless anyhow.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, no.
You don't want to do it now, huh?
No, I don't.
Okay. You're going to get in trouble if you did, right? Okay. Comment not on the agenda. Okay, good job, buddy.
Thank you.
I knew you were digging in deep, and I was afraid what you're going to say. But anyway, we'll get back to that.
I
You
didn't
folks want
say
to know
it.
off the record?
I didn't say it.
Right? Okay, sealed, labeled, and
Okay.
put under
Proceed.
the table. Yeah, okay. So anyway, comments off the agenda. Sue Passardic. Yes, Sue. She says, I'd like to apologize for comments I made at the DDA meeting. I didn't even catch it, did you?
Well, the subject of the popularity of our television station came up, and there were some comments made, and she felt maybe she went too far.
Oh, okay. Well, it was nice. She apologized.
Right.
It's good. People that can apologize if they make a mistake, right?
Absolutely.
The only one that doesn't do that is... Anyway. Anyway, bills. They said, are there any bills? And they said, oh, yeah, we have bills. And to the tune of $18,740
Absolutely.
and 29 cents. And how would you know that?
Because I make it up.
You pretend you know.
Hey,
Anyway, he makes it up. You heard him say that.
to the penny.
Okay. They then covered the year-to-date revenue and expenditure report, and that was approved immediately. No problem at all.
That's a report generated by the township.
It is. And unfinished business. Any unfinished business? Brandon Township. No results there yet. We're still working with it.
Right.
All right. Employees handbook. Lori Fisher looked like roadkill.
No, she didn't.
She did too.
She was still working on it.
Yeah,
As a matter of fact, Ed said that he would meet with her and
yeah.
kind of
But
put the
she
finishing
still looked like
touches on it.
roadkill.
Hey,
I have nothing, she says, kind of like this guy.
not
I have
deer,
nothing.
not deer in the headlights.
Right? Not deer in the haircut. But she's a cute deer in the headlights.
Yeah, she is.
Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Kind of Bambi. We don't run over Bambi in the highway. Anyway, so she said, we're working on it, we'll get it done. And then the employee handbook was taken care of. In 2016 budget, Lori Fisher, let's review it, she says. This is where you come in at some point. Somewhere?
But not yet.
Not
Keep
yet.
going.
Okay. Okay, they said there has been a revenue increase, which is good, making money. T1 line versus Ethernet. What's involved with that? And so that's something that needs to be done from an engineering technical standpoint.
We're putting so much stuff out there, folks, that the T1 line is getting to the end of its line.
It is.
And that pipe is just not big enough.
No.
So we might have to go to another thing.
This guy keeps cramming it in there, but once in a while he'll hiccup and it comes back at him. But
So
anyway,
looking at alternatives.
Yep. And once we go to the Ethernet line, will allow us to be completely high definition. So
So we can put our broadcast
that.
out into the ether.
we could do that into the ether.
Net.
Use ether to start cars with, I think, in the wintertime, don't you? Okay.
Yeah, well,
Ethernet,
not
something
that ether.
different. Okay. Advertising budget for promotions for the station and so forth.
Right,
You know-
right. And we're putting ads in the Oxford Leader every month now, and that's added to some of our costs. And we're also trying to make people more aware that we exist.
Yes, that's a good idea. And actually getting more and more popular all the time.
Absolutely. 24/7, OCTV.
Right. And they did have a discussion, kind of a short discussion, but on the Nielsen program.
Oh, yeah. And,
you know, how that
and
works.
just to go back a little bit, that's channel 191 and channel 19 in Addison Township. Got you, Sean.
Yeah, Channel 19. Yeah. And you know what? That surprised me too. I said, how come they're not 191? Well, apparently they haven't updated their equipment to accommodate 191.
Well, they call
yet.
it the unbuilt
Charter.
out area.
Yeah. So we're going to have discussions with Charter about that, as a matter of fact, see what can be done, because there's more people requesting Charter
Right.
in Addison Township now. So stay tuned with it. for
As
this
the
one.
population goes up, it becomes more lucrative for Charter to come out and do what they should do.
Right. And Shar Sotheby, she will be riding that white horse until it grazes. I mean, we'll figure it out.
Until she gets digital.
Until she gets digital. Right. So the other subject that came up was a van. And what I like there is Ed Hunwick, the president. He said, I think it's something that needs to be done, you know, for the station. That all the employees are using their own vehicles to transport equipment for these big shoots.
Well, when they say big shoots, when we do a sports event especially, when you see us out there covering a basketball game or a hockey game or a football game, there is an enormous amount of equipment we take out. It's a 3-camera shoot with all the communication gear and microphones,
Switchers?
switchers.
Yep.
It's a 3-car convoy that has to go to that location, and a van would really be nice.
Right. Well, the wear and tear on the employees' vehicles is something that Ed Hunwick pointed out. I think it's a good thing.
Sure.
So that looks like something that they may want to
Right.
go along with at some
That's
point
Sue.
here.
Yeah, but Sue Passardi wanted a more line-itemed
Yeah.
cost evaluation.
Yeah. How much you going to spend for gas? How much is insurance going to cost?
Right.
All those kind of things.
Which is
General
perfectly valid.
maintenance.
Perfectly
right.
valid.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can't really do that until you know which van you're going to get.
All right, and when you wait too long,
Tires.
it's gone.
Yeah. We've seen that once or twice, haven't we?
Oh, we've seen it already.
Right. Okay. So
that van.
But anyway, they're leaning in the direction I think that would be good. I think for the station here and for the employees too.
It's just a matter of robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Well, actually, we are having an improvement in terms of additional.
Oh, there's additional.
Dealership.
Oh, sure. There's additional housing and condos and everything else coming into this area, which means that someone is either getting AT&T or Charter, and that increases the amount of fees that are available to do things like this.
And actually, they did talk about 2 of the large developments in this area that will start getting into existence, actually starting this fall. They're going to cut ground on one of them. So, that being said, let's run away from the Communications Commission. Let's see what's going on here, okay?
Well, we do have meetings. Well, at the final meeting of, well, not even the final meeting. There is no more meetings this month.
No.
But for November, on November 2nd at 7:30, the Addison Township Parks Committee, and on 11/4 at 7 o'clock, the Oxford Township Board of Trustees, always a great one, and 11/9, 7 o'clock, Oxford Township Zoning Board of Appeals. Who knows? The Health Quest might be there. But
All right.
also on 11/9 at 7 o'clock, the Village of Leonard Council. And on 11/10 at 7:30, the Addison Township Planning Commission. And at 6:30, the Village of Oxford Council, of which you're an alumni.
I am an alumni. And just one final thing I want to state is that we're very proud of one of our people that works here and is in charge of things, our executive director, producer, Terry Stiles.
Yes.
She just won a major award
Philo
for excellence.
Award.
Yes, for excellence.
You know what that's named after?
No.
Philo Farnsworth.
And
The guy what invented television.
hot diggity, I didn't know that. Did you folks know that? I bet you didn't. Until next time, I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
We'll catch you right here on Minutes by Minutes.
See you then.
Hi, it's Connie from Connie's Kitchen here at Treetop Lodge, enjoying the beautiful fall weather and the gorgeous colors, which will probably soon give way to winter. But in the meantime, we've got so much more going on here than just eating and sleeping. We have classes. Tonight we have a group up here that are painting, creating actual canvas pieces. We're looking at fairy classes in January. We've got scrapbookers coming, weddings, wine dinners, all sorts of things. So give me a call, 248-933-4579. Let me see what I can do for you. Check me out on Facebook and on the web, treetoplodgeoxford.com. See you soon.